Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below. It really helps.
Hey there, if you're a Dodge owner and you're staring at that dreaded check engine light, you have come to the right place. Today, we are going to tackle one very specific trouble code head-on, P3441. Let's get right into what it means and, more importantly, how you can fix it. There it is, that little glowing engine symbol on your dash. You know, it could be something as simple as a loose gas cap, or it could be something a little more involved. We've all felt that little pang of frustration. But hey, don't worry. Understanding the problem is always the first step to solving it. So you've plugged in your trusty code reader and it spits out P3441. And you're probably thinking, okay, what on earth does that mean? Well, we're about to break it down for you and show you exactly what your next move should be. All right, so what is this mystery message your car is trying to send you? Let's go ahead and decode P3441 and really get to the bottom of the system that's causing this whole issue in the first place. Now, the key thing to get here is that P3441 isn't just some random error code. Oh no, it only shows up during one very specific event. That moment when your engine tries to switch from its powerful V8 mode down to a more fuel-efficient four-cylinder mode. And that clue points us directly to an electrical problem in a little thing called the MDS solenoid 6 circuit. Now, before we dive into what a solenoid is, you might be thinking, wait a second. My engine switches between 8 and 4 cylinders? Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about the super clever technology that makes this all possible, the MDS. This whole thing comes down to a really smart piece of engineering called the multi-displacement system, or MDS for short. You know, the best way to think about it is that your engine is letting half of its team take a quick coffee break when you just don't need all that power. It's a brilliant fuel-saving feature that's designed to work completely seamlessly in the background. And here you can see the two modes side by side. When you really put your foot down or you're towing something heavy, bam, you get the full, unadulterated power of all 8 cylinders. But when you're just cruising down the highway, the MDS kicks in, switching to just 4 cylinders to save you some gas. That P3441 code, well, that's your car telling you something's going wrong during that handoff. Okay, so we've pinpointed the problem area, that NDS solenoid 6 circuit. But what exactly is going wrong inside that circuit? It's time to unmask the 4 most common culprits. So there are basically 4 primary electrical gremlins that can trigger this code. First, you could have a short to battery voltage, which usually just means a wire has worn through somewhere and is touching something it shouldn't. Second, a short to ground could be that same pesky wire touching the metal engine block. Third, a control open fault. That's just a fancy way of saying the MDS solenoid itself might be the problem. And finally, you could have an open ground circuit, which means the system isn't getting a solid ground connection. All right, we know the potential causes. Now what? This next part is all about action. It's about turning that diagnostic code into a clear, concrete plan to get you and your truck back on the road. Here's your game plan, laid out as a simple 4-point checklist. You're going to start by systematically checking for a short to the battery. That means inspecting all the wiring and connections for any obvious wear and tear. Then you'll look for a short to ground. Is there any debris or maybe some corrosion getting in the way? Third, you'll inspect the solenoid itself. And finally, you'll test the ground circuit and all its connectors. See, it's really just a logical process of elimination. So let's just do a quick recap of what we've learned here. That code, P3441, it points directly to an electrical issue with the MDS solenoid 6 circuit. There are 4 main things that cause it, all related to the wiring or the solenoid itself. And the good news is that the diagnosis is a clear process of checking those parts, and honestly, the fix is often more straightforward than you might think. Now, while these steps are pretty logical, we absolutely have to share this critical piece of advice. When you're dealing with your engine's electrical system, if you feel even the slightest bit unsure, it is always the best call to consult a qualified professional. Safety always comes first. With this information, you are no longer in the dark. You actually understand what that code means, you know what causes it, and you have a solid approach for the diagnosis. That check engine light isn't a mystery anymore, is it? It's just a challenge you're now equipped to face.